Russell Westbrook has been surprisingly effective. And, he had a 3 of 19 game where he contributed to winning. And they did win the game. So this has been an eye-opening series so far. The depth concerns that we had about Phoenix, they're showing up. You mentioned the minutes load. I mean, Kevin Durant's playing 45 minutes a night. Devin Booker, is Devin Booker, and Devin Booker's doing it two ways at 100% effort. So you guys looking ahead at game 4, we still don't know Kawhi Leonard's status as of right now. I'm assuming doubtful. How do you guys feel about it? I mean, Norm Powell I thought was excellent stepping into the starting lineup. Obviously scored 40. So is that something that they can steal one without Kawhi?
Stealing one at home's funny.
I know.
But that's a situation.
Such a talent disadvantage. And it stinks because this Clippers team is these 3 games have been pretty interesting. Like they have not backed down at all, and they have every reason to.
I mean, the 2 games that he played, Kawhi was great.
Yes,
if he came back in the series, they won the series, and you got back to me in like early June, and it's like, hey, the Clippers and Bucks in the NBA Finals, I would be surprised, but I would not be shocked.
No, I mean, it's really interesting. Like, this is a tough team. This Clipper team does have a lot of fight. And to be honest, they're kind of at their best when they're down guys. Like, this has kind of been their MO over the last few years in their instance. I mean, just think about it this way. They lost Kawhi in that Jazz series, and they still pulled it off and got to the first conference finals ever. I think there's a lot of that stuff. First off, there's a lot of people going and apologizing to Russ and everything. And I was the first one to go completely nuts even before I even said, if you even think about it, you guys are crazy. I still stand by that point. It just, we didn't know at that time they were going to be down PG and coincidentally Kawhi. Then you need Russ, and Russ has been phenomenal. But where Russ has been most interesting, we probably should have mentioned him earlier in Seth's favorite thing, is the defensive end. He's trying on the defensive end in a way we haven't seen him try in like 2 or 3 years. And I think, rear view contests and blocks from behind and things like that. Like, he's really trying a lot of that stuff and putting more effort on that end, which has been interesting. Still messes up some, still misses rotations and things, but given more there. So I think that's the first starting point. For the Suns, man, Chris Paul needs to make a shot. 1 for 8 from 3.
Now, here's the one good thing, Mo, is that at least he's taking them. And that's a departure from what happened most of the season, where he just wouldn't shoot them. And I mean, he knows at this point he has to take the shots, whether he's going to make them or not, because otherwise they're done. I mean, first half of game 1, you asked me, should they bench Chris Paul? And now he had a wonderful second half, but I don't feel like he's been an effective player for them, really. Like game 3 was awful.
I'm actually surprised they're leaving Torrey Craig so wide open and not
doing that to Chris Paul,
and they're doing it to Chris a little bit, but they're not. Like, I would just completely leave Chris and defend Torrey Craig, who's shooting the piss out of the ball. Like, it's the polar opposites of that stuff. And he made a huge 3 at the end of game 3. I think those are the things that's a small adjustment that they can make with what they're doing. I think the Clippers are just going to play small and fast and try to wear these dudes down, because Russ is the Energizer Bunny. He played 40 minutes game 3. I don't think he's tired. I'll be interested if Norman Powell can repeat this performance after playing 42 minutes in that game. I feel like Booker can. I feel like KD can. I don't know if Powell can, and that will be a big question for them.
I have a bigger alarm bell, I think, to ring than Chris Paul making shots or not. Like, that will or won't happen. Something that is maybe me a little more determinative has me very worried about the Suns in their progression. I think that maybe this is just a me thing, but I think we've all talked about, we wanted to see, and we thought they needed to go deep in the playoffs. We needed a forceful DeAndre Ayton, and we have seen none of that. He's got. I'm frankly surprised that he shot a total of 10 free throws across the first 3 games of this series. There's been
forceful DeAndre Ayton is the real NBA unicorn, because it doesn't exist.
No, but it was a huge part of why they made the finals 2 years ago.
I know.
And then he gets plays. He gets the ball like at the front of the rim with Nick Batum on him and tosses up a little half hook that Batum tosses out to half court. Now Nick Batum's a good defender, and credit to him for making that play. But that can't happen, and that's the kind of stuff that they need more from.
He fell in love with the jump hook, which is a great weapon for him. Fell in love with the jump hook, fell in love with the mid range, and now doesn't really try to get to those other spots.
I've given up. I've been on this campaign for 3 years. DeAndre Ayton's got to play with more force, got to play with more force, got to go up for dunking, got to try it. There were a couple of plays last night in game 3 where there were opportunities. He did it once and I was shocked. I was, whoa, I went completely the Leonardo DiCaprio meme and started pointing at the TV going, see, he can do it. But did it once. And that's not enough. And I just think that's the massive problem for them. Honestly, I don't know how the playoffs are going to play out for them and things like that. But I would seriously look to try to make a move in the offseason and bring in a center that's forceful. You can kind of see the difference when Biyombo's out there, kind of similar to the Kings. Biyombo's at least playing with some sort of force.
Right.
A little bit reckless, a little bit crazy, chaotic, but there's some sort of force behind it, and he's going to try to dunk every time he gets it. It's a little bit easier for them
if he actually catches it, but that's
well, that's
$1 million, a whole other issue. But
okay,
but in that sense, and I think just I've given up with it. So I know that that's ring that alarm bell all you want. I just got tired. I was ringing it so much, my arm got sore. I said I'm done. I just can't do it anymore.
You guys have any adjustments? I mean, this is like a weird one because number one, have no idea on the status of Kawhi. I don't know how much the Clippers actually can change, to be honest with you. There's just not a lot you can do differently.
I think the ultimate adjustment for me would be lean in on Terrence Mann and Westbrook lineups together and let them kind of wreak havoc defensively. Just double the shit out of Booker and KD and live with everybody else.
And hope.
Like,
and hope.
I mean, like, there's not much you could. When Kawhi's healthy and Kawhi's on the court, you can at least put Kawhi on one dude. Be like, cool. Kawhi versus KD, like, yeah, we can double, but we don't have to. And then we can focus on the other guys. But now when just there is none, I think you just need to double the hell out of both of them and just see if other guys can beat you. And I honestly, I don't know if they can.